it's time to talk about the major visiting weekend that the Gators are about to host. A lot of top prospects, a lot of the top guys on Florida's board that are coming in this. Oh, wait, let me put the banner up. Previewing an elite OV weekend. We got some 5 stars, a bunch of 4 stars, some 3 stars, even some unranked players. Got a little bit of spice for everybody's liking there. Coming in this next weekend, I guess, if you consider Sunday part of this weekend. But I think we should start off talking about this weekend with the biggest name that's coming on campus. 5-star safety, number 1 safety in the class, Brilan Wilmack out of Flowood, Mississippi. First of all, this recruitment got really interesting when the Gators hired Vinny Sunsery. The Gators were never really in this thing, but when we hired Sunsery from Washington, he was someone that had a really great relationship with Wilmack. Guess to go back a little bit, and he had Washington in their top schools until Sunsery left and came for Florida. A lot of the hype is around Ohio State. I believe Texas A&M and Auburn are the other 2 schools in his recruitment as well. But really, I think the Gators, it's going to be tough because Ohio State, big favorite. Something that ends up happening with a good amount of these kids from the South, Ohio State gets it in for them. You know, they're offering this money. They're showing off what they've done in the past with all their recruits. But then they get up there to Columbus, get them on their visits, and they realize, hey, maybe I'm not built to be up north. I need to stay down south. Seen it with a guy like Dijon Johnson, Jaheim Singletary a couple years ago. So these guys in the DB room, which is really interesting, actually, now that I look at it. But you're getting him on there. I don't know how much the Gators can really do here to try to push us past Ohio State. It might just be more of if Ohio State loses him, the Gators could really try to reel him in. Not discounting Auburn or Texas A&M. They have a ton of money. They're also getting official visits. Anything could happen. But if we can just try to get past my Ohio State, it's going to be tough. I think you'd have a real good chance at landing that number 1 safety in the class of 2026. Yeah, 2026. Whew. I'm going to say we don't end up landing him, but I do think the Gators have a chance to. And you get a 5-star DB. I mean, that's just what you're meant to do here at UF. You look at the next recruit, second highest rated recruit, number 102, Nebraska commit out of Windermere, Florida, CJ Bronow. Now, he's someone that's been on flip watch for the Gators for the past month or so. Really, since Deron Wilson came to UF and became our new corner coach, Florida jumped all over Bronow. Rose up the rankings, really good speed, pretty interesting prospect with good size and length. I think he's someone that I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about in a week from now, him someone that flipped to Florida and being our new highest ranked commit. I think he's someone the Gators will land. Done a real good job recruiting him, giving him the chance to stay closer to home, not having to travel all the way out to Lincoln, Nebraska. It's Lincoln. No, it's not Lincoln. Where is the University of Nebraska? Now that I think about it, I'm going to see it and be so upset, but Nebraska. Yeah, it is in Lincoln. Okay, I was right. But I think he'd rather be in Gainesville, Florida than Lincoln, Nebraska. And Gators have been said to be the team that's in the best position to flip him. And I think we end up doing that. And we're getting a really good corner here. If you can find some other guys, Chauncey Keenan, who we had on the visit last weekend and really moved up his board, I think you're looking at a really, really good recruiting class. Excuse me. Next up, we're going to talk about 4-star defensive line out of Tupelo, Mississippi. Another Mississippi kid. Now I got the hiccups. We got Brilan McCoy, who someone that had a really interesting past recruiting rankings as starting the class. He was one of those top 20 recruits, 5-star talent. Everybody was going after him. Had a really good sophomore year with like 9.5, 10 sacks maybe. But in his junior season, he only put up about 1.5 sacks. And that was enough for 247 to drop him to a 3-star ranking, which really tumbled his composite rating. ESPN still has him as a top 10 recruit and number 9. On 3 has him in like the 190s. Rivals has him at like 109. someone that just won a Rivals Camp MVP on the defensive line. I think he could get a jump there. On 3, now that they've acquired Rivals as well, was there, I'm pretty sure. So he might get a jump there. But I think to really get him to boost up to someone that has that 5-star potential, he's going to need to have some production in that 2025 high school football season. And he's someone that I do expect the Gators to land. He has a commitment date set for July 1st. But what everyone's saying, if the Gators push hard enough, he could end up committing this upcoming weekend. I do like us to still hold on if he doesn't commit this weekend and waits until July 1st. But you would love to try to get him to commit right away, cancel his other visits, don't take the risk. You got some other big names like Texas and LSU in there that can throw around some money and complicate things. So I would love to get him right now. Someone that has a sky-high potential, could even finish up as a 5-star prospect. George. Next up, another guy, 4-star, top 150 defensive lineman out of Birmingham, Alabama, Parker High School. Pretty sure we've recruited some players out of there before. Maybe Quay Rosal and his teammate was also a 5-star defensive lineman. George, I wandered off and started listening to Sugar Loaf. Don't call us. We'll call you. Good song. Hey, I'll check it out after the stream here. But Vic Cleveland, who a month ago I felt phenomenal about, really Florida was the team that was clearly out in front. I still feel good, but as of the past couple of weeks, Texas has really started to get involved in this recruitment. And one thing that Florida just cannot really compete with is that Texas money. Now, NIL might not be the only key factor here, but Vic Cleveland, I don't know if he'll commit. I don't think he'll end up committing, even if we really push him to this weekend. But someone I do think we're right there and easily could land. That relationship he has with why forget our defensive line coach name? Gerald Chapman. Don't know where I forgot, but great relationship there. Florida's offering some competitive NIL money. Another near elite defensive lineman that has the opportunity to shoot up boards even more. And I think the Gators have positioned themselves really well for him. And I wouldn't be shocked. I don't expect him to be a Gator, but I think he's someone that really easily could be a Gator. Maybe one of those battles that go down to the wire. And you're hoping that you win. The next one, though, I fully expect to be a Gator. The 104, Vic Cleveland was ranked 142, McCoy 122 as well. I forgot to mention. The next recruit that's coming on visit, really high on, he's Kent, 4-star tight end, 147, so another top 150 recruit out of Brunswick, Georgia. It's really been a big Florida-Miami battle, but Florida's been the team to beat for the past couple months. Tight end, but a lot of people think he should be a tackle, but he wants to be a tight end. And if you're in his recruitment, you're recruiting him to be a tight end. He kicked Bama out because they wanted him at offensive tackle. So we'll see what happens when he actually gets on campus if he signs with Florida. But coming on a visit, I wouldn't be shocked if he's one of those another guy that we're talking about as a commit next week. Top 150 player. Really big target. Would love for the Gators to get him, and he's someone I expect us to land and could land him pretty soon. Next guy we'll talk about out of Milton, Florida, Caden Hall, ranked 169th, nice in the class of 2026. He is a safety, 6'3", 195, really good size there. Someone good speed, good size, could really become a really good safety here for UF, top 170 prospect. I've heard a lot recently about Bama getting involved. The Gators sit well. I wouldn't expect him to be a guy that could commit this weekend, but he is someone that could happen. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not going to expect it. I think this is a battle that could go down until after all the official visits, could go down to signing day with Bama. Really big target, could be our best safety on the board, and I like the Gators' chances here, but it's not as high, kind of like Vic Cleveland, not as high as it was about a month ago or so. Next one, a guy I do expect to be a Gator, 4-star corner, 234th in the class of 2025, 6'1", 185, corner out of Cocoa, Florida, C.J. Hester. set his commitment date for July 5th a couple days ago, I believe. Honestly, it's a bit upsetting he set his commitment date because he would have been someone that I would have predicted to end up committing to the Gators on this visit. It still could happen, but it's not something that I feel really confident in happening now. I do expect him to be a Gator on July 5th, though, if he doesn't end up committing. But really good. If he's like your worst, not worst, because I think he's someone that has a pretty high, could really be a good corner here for UF. But if he's your lowest ranked recruit in our corner recruit after a Chauncey Keenan, CJ Bronow, maybe Danny Odom or some other guys, then that's a really good corner class you're looking at UF with a high floor. So I really like him. I think he's someone we're going to end up landing, and it puts us in a really good spot at that corner position. Next guy we're going to talk about, recent Florida offer, Duyon DQ. He goes by Forkba out of IMG Academy, ranked 241st in a 247 composite, 6 foot, 225 linebacker. Where is he originally from? Let me figure that out. He is originally from, they do not have it listed. Huh. DQ Forkba. Let's see. On 3 have it listed? No, they just, oh, he's out of Houston, Georgia. But 4-star linebacker, just won the linebacker MVP at that same Rivals camp that I was about to say LJ McCray, sorry, but Ryland McCoy won defensive line MVP. I could see him also jumping up boards a little bit. Pretty high, the Gators are on him. Probably that number 1 linebacker target. I expect us to land him, and you could easily see him weekend on that official visit. Next guy, Javian Mallory. Is he even this thing? I'm not sure. Running back commit number 307 to Miami. I haven't heard too much about him really. It feels like we've gone other ways with the running backs. Committed to Miami. We'll see. I mean, we got Jameer Perez. I wasn't expecting us to even get a commit out of that last weekend visit cycle, but we did. So we'll see if it happens, but it's just something I'm not going to count on. Wait, 1 second. Oh, okay. Sorry, never mind. Yeah, never mind. Okay. Next, someone I do expect. He set a commitment, I believe, also for early July. 247 isn't doing a good job of keeping track of these set commitment dates, but originally from Ocala, shout out the 352, plays at IMG Academy, 6'4", 336, 3-star number 435 in the class of 2026. The top schools really are Florida, Tennessee, with a pretty big gap, but there's probably a pretty big gap between Florida and Tennessee. Again, kind of like CJ Hester, if he didn't set that commitment date for early July, I would expect him to commit to Florida after this visit, but we'll end up seeing what happens here. But he's someone that should be a Gator. Out of the Central Florida area, plays at IMG, he should be a Gator. Next up, a new addition to the visiting class, Keenan Britt, 3-star linebacker, committed to South Carolina, 454 in the country, 6'2", 230, pretty good size there. Pretty recent addition to the visiting class. I heard we've kind of moved on a little bit from it, or the communication has kind of dropped off from either sides. I don't really expect too much to come out of this, but we'll see. Anything can happen. Maybe they end up really liking his tape or something. The next guy, another recent Florida visit offer, K-Ron Maycock, committed to FSU, the 459th player. So 247 has him listed at safety, but Florida is recruiting him, I believe, to play linebacker. So maybe that's a difference in his rankings. 6'1", 200, so we would need to put on a good amount of size. But maybe they see him as a highly athletic linebacker that could maybe even play a little bit of that star role. We'll see what happens there. If the Gators want him, then we'll flip him from FSU. I have zero doubts about that. But, yeah, it's, guy ranked in the 400, solid. If he's your worst linebacker recruit. Rob here. There we go. The way it's looking, we might have 5 recruits before his signing day. We might get 5 recruits from this weekend. But I could see it being a Gator if the Gators really push for him. Next one, someone that if he's a take will instantly be a Gator. Blaze Tomasi, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, of Catholic Baton Rouge. Now, you're out of Baton Rouge, and you're probably assuming he's going to automatically be an LSU Tiger. But nope. Has TCU, Stanford, Florida, Duke, and Tulane. He's a center prospect now. He's only ranked in the 700s. But center prospects, just like nose tackles, usually end up getting ranked a lot lower. He also, I believe, has Florida connections with family members. So if he gets the go-ahead, I would really expect him to commit nearly on the spot to Florida. And we saw what happened with the last 3-star center we got in Jake Slaughter. Next guy, 6'4", 185, wide receiver out of Lake Mary's, Brilan Williams, ranked in the 700s. I don't expect much to come from this. I doubt he's a take. He also has Penn State and Kentucky. Go figure. He visited Penn State already, but I don't expect much to come out of this. I mean, maybe they like his film and I'm just missing something here, but yeah. The next name we're looking at, Javari Lucas, unranked currently prospect. Is he unranked? That was a 3-star. 247 has him as a 3-star, but unranked on the composite out of Belle Glade, Florida. Offensive tackle, I think he could play interior. If we give him the go-ahead, he would be someone that commits on the spot probably. But he's probably a guy that you're looking later on down the road, as if you miss on a couple prospects, which hey, with the offensive line group, we have done that from time to time. So I would not be surprised if he ends up in this class. Now, maybe the most intriguing prospect on this list, another unranked player out of Valdosta, Georgia, Corey Howard. The past week, I believe, May 21st. So, yeah, 4 days ago, Florida offered him. On May 9th, Georgia offered him. I thought he said a visit to Georgia as well. I have to double check that. But he's a 6'6", 235 edge rusher out of Valdosta, currently unranked. If the Gators full pressure, maybe they really like what they saw, and maybe he'll be someone that jumps up boards. You look at a guy like Joseph Mbachu, who at this time last year, I think he just got ranked after Florida was really the one to identify him, end up being in our class. So, someone that could definitely shoot up boards. I thought he set some other visits. Let me double check this, though, because I could be wrong. Hold up. Florida, there we go. Visits, there we go. Corey Howard. Valdosta, good G2? G3 football school. I can't remember which one it is at the time, but where is he at? Yeah, he doesn't have a profile picture on 3, but only visit I can see is for Florida right now. So we'll see what ends up happening there. If he's a take, I mean, maybe you full push him if they really like his tape. But I feel like there's some good other edge prospects that we can target in this class. And I almost passed on a 4-star edge rusher, Ashari Charles out of Venice, Florida. Only have his on 3 pulled up, 180 on the on 3 industry rankings. Currently heavily projected to go to Miami out of Venice, 6'2", 235. I feel like this is one that you get on a visit because you want to keep relationships. Maybe you miss on some players. Maybe Miami burns a bridge or something happens there, and he's someone that could just sneak into that Florida class kind of unexpectedly. I don't expect it too much, but we'll see what ends up happening there. Pretty solid player in that near 200 range in the composite, but you're probably hoping to get some other edge recruits like a Luke Wafel or Jake Cruel, and even that unranked guy seems like they're really high on if they're trying to get him on a visit this quickly. Now, if you're going to ask me, who do I think ends up committing within like the next week and a half or so after that next visit weekend, I'll rank them actually. So number 1, I'm going to put DQ Forkba. We offered him after we lost Isaiah Williams. It seemed like we felt full press on him, named us as his leader. I fully expect him to be in this class, and I could fully expect him to be in this class in the next 2 weeks. Then after that, I'm going to go Hayes Kent out of Brunswick, Georgia, top 150 tight end. Really seems like he has a good relationship with Russ Callaway and the Gators. Maybe he wants to take that Miami visit, but hopefully this is one you can get shut down. After that, it's tough because we have some kids who have visits set, or actually, no, it's not. Yeah, because you have a bunch of players who have visits set, but have commitment dates set, that I see in the Gators class, but maybe they want to wait until that date they have set in early July. Someone like a Ganivar Carr, because I think he is high on Tennessee and probably wants to get up to Knoxville, but I fully expect him to be in this class. And if he didn't have that commitment date set, I'd probably say he's another commit. Another one, CJ Hester, has that commitment date set in early July. I would predict it if he didn't have that date set. And Brilan McCoy as well, July 1st. I would predict him to end up committing to the Gators if he didn't have that date set. Of those guys that have dates set, I'll say McCoy's the most likely. I think he's one of our top prospects that we're really going to push for. And the last guy that I would expect, not expect, but say CJ Bronow, Nebraska commit 102 corner, elite type of prospect that you really need in this class. He's talked about the Gators are right there with Nebraska. I fully expect us to flip him, or I fully expect him to flip from Nebraska. And at this point, Florida is the team that is on that top of the board. So I'm going to say DQ Forkba and Blaze Tomasi as well. I completely missed up on him. If he's a take, then he definitely would commit. So I'm going to go Forkba and Ken. I'm going to say those two end up committing. And anyway, if we get more than those two guys, I would be thrilled.